"Hell is empty, because all the demons are among us." This quote from William Shakespeare's play, The Tempest, was the first thing that came to my mind while researching this heinous, inhumane and unjust case. Now before we get to the main content, please hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Hello, it's me again, and today we will explore the infamous Hello Kitty case that occurred in 1999 in Hong Kong. The case that shook the entire country, as they couldn't believe such heinous crimes could be committed on the very land they thought was safe. The haunting combination of the brutality of demons with an adorable character created to be a role model for young girls. Hello Kitty. The story unfolds in Hong Kong in the spring of 1999 when a female staff member at a nightclub was kidnapped for torture and rape at an apartment in Sham Shui Po. After stealing money from the wallet of a regular customer, Fan Man Yi was held captive by 3 men and a woman before passing away around April 14 to 15, 1999. Her body was decapitated, and the head was later stuffed into a Hello Kitty mermaid plush toy, giving this case its haunting name. Born in 1976 in Shenzhen, Fan Man Yi was abandoned by her family when she was a child. She grew up in an orphanage for girls in the Mekong Delta. At the age of 15, she had to leave the orphanage as it was the age limit for children to stay. Becoming a homeless drug addict, Fan Man Yi had to prostitution. At the age of 21, she started working at a massage parlor named Romance Villa in Sham Shui Po, where she met a client and later married him in 1996. They had a son together, and at that time the 3 of them were living in Mong Kok. Man Yi's husband was described as a violent person, as neighbors often woke up in the middle of the night to the couple's arguments and the cries of their child echoing in their apartment. After going through childbirth and giving birth to a son, Fan Man Yi decided to change her life for the better, aiming to provide a warm and happy life for her child. She quit her addiction and left the sex trade, taking on a new job at a nightclub called Empress Karaoke, while simultaneously divorcing her abusive husband. However, due to these changes, Man Yi's income significantly decreased, making life extremely difficult for her and her son. Man Yi met Chan Man Lok, a 34-year-old man, in 1997 at one of the apartments where she worked. He was a member of the Triad, a large criminal organization in China. Chan Man Lok was a regular customer and had a tendency towards violence when using methamphetamine. Having been assaulted by Chan Man Lok while he was high, Man Yi did not want to encounter him again. However, she made a grave mistake by stealing his wallet containing around HKD 4,000. After being discovered, Man Yi immediately returned the money, but Chan Man Lok wanted more and demanded an additional HKD 10,000 as interest. Even after fully repaying that amount, Chan Man Lok continued to raise the interest and insisted that Man Yi pay more. Unable to provide the additional HKD 16,000 that Chan Man Lok demanded, on March 17, 1999, he, along with 2 accomplices, Liang Shengzhu and Liang Weilun, planned to kidnap Man Yi. The 3 criminals took her to apartment 31 on Granville Road, Tsim Sha Tsui, Hong Kong. The apartment was decorated entirely with a Hello Kitty theme, from bedspreads and curtains to towels and household items. This was where she was held captive for a month. Initially, Chan Man Lok intended to force her into prostitution to earn money to pay off his debts, continuing until the debt was fully settled. However, he later changed his decision and subjected her to mockery, torture, and abuse. Her month of nightmare began from there. During her captivity, she was tortured and raped, beaten with iron bars, hung up to be used as a punching bag. She was kicked in the head about 50 times consecutively, and they used spices to rub into Fan Man Yi's wounds. Her legs were mutilated with wax candles and melted plastic to the point where she couldn't walk normally anymore. She was forced to eat human feces. Even while being tortured and forced to perform all these horrifying acts, she had to smile and say that she enjoyed being beaten. Failure to comply would lead to even more brutal torture. Finally, around April 14, 1999, when the perpetrators were not present in the apartment and with severe injuries, Fan Man Yi passed away. After discovering Fan Man Yi's body and not knowing what to do, they sat down to play games and contemplate. Later, the 3 decided to dismember her body into multiple parts and bury them in a large pot. While doing all this, they felt hungry and decided to cook. They placed another pot right next to the one containing Fan Man Yi's head to cook their food, even using the same chopsticks for both pots. Fan Man Yi's head was placed inside a Hello Kitty stuffed toy, while the rest of her body was destroyed. Only the skull, a tooth and some other organs were found in a plastic bag. The other body parts were found in various locations throughout the city. Before being arrested, Chan Man-lok was living with his wife named Zhe Pui-ling and their newborn child. Their apartment was raided by the SWAT team early in the morning on May 28. Zhe Pui-ling was initially suspected to be involved in the murder case but was quickly released after sufficient evidence of her innocence was found. Upon discovering the exposed murder case on the news, Liang Weilun quickly fled to Guangxi, China. He was wanted by Interpol and was on the priority list before being arrested on February 14, 2000, following the discovery of irregularities in his passport. On December 7, 2000, the three perpetrators were convicted of murder, although the jury could not determine whether their actions were intentional or not. However, they concluded that Fan Man-yi had died from the injuries inflicted by them. During the trial, Chan Man-lok and Liang Shengzhu did not plead guilty to murdering Fan Man-yi, but did not deny their involvement in dismembering her body. Chan Man-lok's wife, Fan Man-yi's ex-husband and aunt were present in court as witnesses. You might be wondering how this heinous crime was exposed when the three murderers had a fairly tidy plan. It was only about a month later that the police could certify that the skull found in the Hello Kitty stuffed toy belonged to Fan Man-yi. This was because not only Chan Man-lok, Liang Shengzhu and Liang Weilun were present, but also a 14-year-old girl named Ah Fong, reportedly Chan Man-lok's girlfriend, was there when Fan Man-yi was tortured. In May 1999, Ah Fong went to the Hong Kong police station to report a strange incident related to the supernatural. She told the police that she had been haunted by the ghost of a woman for several weeks. She described horrifying scenes related to torture using electric wires. Of course, the police initially did not believe a word from a 14-year-old without evidence. It wasn't until she mentioned that the ghost in her nightmares was connected to a murder case that the police began to pay attention to her story. They followed Ah Fong to the Hello Kitty apartment and discovered that what she said was true. The entire account of the events was detailed and authentic because Ah Fong was not just a witness, she was the fourth person involved in the torture of Fan Man-yi. Despite being heavily manipulated by Chan Man-lok, Ah Fong was an extremely indifferent girl. At that time she was still young, but old enough to distinguish right from wrong. She assisted the others in tormenting Fan Man-yi, even laughing and feeling satisfied doing so. Some of the torturous acts were Ah Fong's own ideas, and she executed them directly. When asked by the police why she did such bad things, she simply replied that she found it enjoyable. Even though she was one of the direct offenders, the police, in exchange for crucial information about the case, accepted dropping charges and protecting Ah Fong's identity, partly because she was only 14 years old at the time, and in court, Ah Fong testified against the other three, securing her freedom. Although it is true that she played a role in bringing this crime to light, I still find it extremely unjust and infuriating that Ah Fong is completely free and doing whatever she wants after contributing to the death of Fan Man-yi. Judge Peter Nguyen sentenced the three murderers to life imprisonment without parole, describing it as the most brutal, cruel, heinous and heartless case the court has ever witnessed in Hong Kong. Psychological analysis of the three murderers revealed that they showed no remorse or regret for their actions. Chan Man-lok and Liang Weilun are currently serving their life sentences at Stanley Prison, one of the most secure prisons in Hong Kong. On the other hand, Liang Shengzhu successfully reduced his sentence from life to 18 years in March 2004. He was released in April 2014, but 8 years later, in August 2022, Liang Shengzhu was arrested again after assaulting a girl 10 years old. The three portraits of Buddha have been placed in the hotel as a memorial to this. Fan Man-yi's necklace was handed over to her son after being discovered in the refrigerator during the investigation. There are rumors that her son and ex-husband are currently residing in Singapore. The publicity surrounding the case led to the production and release of two films, Human Pork Chop and There Is a Secret in My Soup, both released in 2001 in China, based on the Hello Kitty murder case. Fan Man-yi's life is a sad story from the moment she was born. She was abandoned by her biological parents. When she turned 15, the same situation recurred when she could no longer stay at the orphanage she had been sent to since childhood. She was thrust into a complex and dangerous society with no survival skills. Fan Man-yi did everything she knew to survive, and her life seemed destined to become a tragic drama, an endless series of tragedies. I believe the only time Fan Man-yi truly felt a small moment of happiness was when she became pregnant and gave birth to her son. He was like a ray of light in her life, illuminating the dark patches of Fan Man-yi's life. He helped her decide to change her life, leave the street life, and overcome addiction. Although I know the outcome of her efforts is extremely tragic, I hope that her son can overcome this and live a warm, happy life as she wished in the final days of her life. And this is Creep Factor. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. And if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting contents.